Hey beautiful ones, and happy Wednesday. I don't know if you know, but I have a podcast. It's called From Darkness to Light, and I haven't recorded one episode in, I think, at least 3 years, maybe 4 years. And today I thought that I would make a new episode, and because I've been to two breast cancer events today, and it feels like I'm going down memory lane a lot lately. I went to a photo shoot at the psych ward last week, and now I've been sitting during a lecture and also talking to people, and I realized that, oh, when I grew up, my mom, she had cancer. I have two moms, and one of them had cancer. She was diagnosed when I was 11. And, well, she had cancer more or less like, for 26 years she had cancer. It came and it went, and she was bald, and she had a wig, and she had one boob, and then she had no boobs. And for us children, it was very much like, this is how life is, you know. She had friends who had cancer. Then our dad got cancer and he died. He only got 3 years to live with cancer. And I realized that this disease is very close to home for me. It's very close to my core. The sad thing, or the strange thing, is that when I grew up, it was more like you live with it. It's nothing you talk much about because not many people have it, and it's more or less like, as a child, you just accept, you go to school, you continue, and then she's sick again, and then that is sick again, and then you just continue, and it's like really difficult years for a child. I grew up with two parents with cancer. First I was 11, second time I was almost 15. Dad died, and then Marianne, she lived on for 26 years. What I want to share with you today is that I also had my share of worry when it comes to me. For those of you who are new to my channel, I have shared very openly about most things in my life, and I had breast implants year 2008. After, considering it for at least 5 years, I think, I decided to do it. I sold my company, and this is a little, what shall I say? It seems a little stereotypical, or I don't know. I sold my company, I got a lot of money. What did I do? I bought a BMW and I bought myself new boobs. And I was very happy with them. I was extremely happy with my new boobs. I felt for the first time, I was very self-aware when it came to my body. I did not have a high self-esteem. To get what I sense, my body back, my figure back, like this is how I used to look before the children. And that is it's so silly in itself, because why do we expect to look the same after giving birth as we did before? Today, right now, I feel it's very naive, or what shall I say? Doesn't anyone tell us we're not going to look the same, that the body will change, that everything will change? Anyways, I did them, and then just 2 years later, my husband at that time, one morning, he was like cuddling me, and then he said, "Shama, you have a lump in your breast." And I'm like, "What?" And I was touching, and I was like, "What?" And it was big. It was really big. And immediately we panicked, both of us, and we got a time at the cancer ward, and we went there, and I remember the guy who did like the ultrasound and so on, he said, "Yes, I can definitely feel it." And then he asked, "But this one in your armpit, how long did you have that one?" And I'm like, "What?" "Well, you have one size of an avocado in your armpit." And then I just felt like, the blood just leaves your body, and I felt like, David, I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint. Okay. It turned out that it wasn't cancer. It was my right implant had burst. So my whole part here was full of silicone. Then came like the question, what shall we do about this patient? How shall we treat her? Who shall treat her? And so on. Because everyone agreed that it was not super healthy for me to walk around like that. But at the cancer clinic, they said, this is not a problem of ours. You got to go back to your plastic surgeon. And I did. And then they, strangely enough, offered me the surgery for free and the free exchange. And they said nothing. And they said that this happens, is very, very rare, and you should not worry. But I was not feeling well. You know, I was feeling quite sick at that point. I was full of anxiety. I had ache in my body. You know, I began to have these arthritis problems and stuff. And they said, it has nothing to do with this. This is completely unharmful. It's just silicone, and don't you worry. And they removed this. They cleared the whole breast area here. They removed some silicone from here, and so on and so on. And then I was supposed to be as good as new. It turned out that that silicone that burst was of a PIP brand, and that was a big scandal, industrial silicone. And I know that many women have gotten what shall I say, a compensation for suffering, and they know that this caused a lot of harm to these women. Anyways, my plastic surgeon, he took no responsibility for this, and they burnt all the implants. They didn't save them. They're supposed to save them and send them to for diagnosis. They didn't. So there was like a big cover up, and it made me very, very worried for a long time. What do I have inside? And here it began to grow again, and I went back, and they say, no, it's silicone, it's not harmful. I'm like, it is harmful. It's actually proven that women get really, really sick of this, and so on. Anyways, full fast forward until 4 years ago, 2021, I think, 22, 21. I woke up one day with one boob, like 3 sizes as big as the other. Once again, I had to make an appointment, go back to the breast cancer clinic, and they removed, like twice in a week, they removed 1 liter of fluid. They sent that fluid off because then it turned out that there are several cancer forms that breast implant patients get. And I was like, what? Is there a special cancer form that only women with breast implants have? Yes, not only one, but several of them. And then again, this long time of worry started. I was waiting for the results to come back. The results came. The doctor called me and she said, you need to come in. We need to do another one. We need to do a biopsy because the results came back unclear. And I'm like, what does it mean? It means that it doesn't say it's cancer and it doesn't say it's not cancer. So we have to go dig further. And so they did. And I was there and made more tests, and they did the final ultrasound thingy. And the doctor then says, oh, it's silicone. There's a rupture here. So it's just silicone. And I'm like, what? I mean, what are the chances that I have in this right breast that this one would break twice? At this point, I felt very sick. I was not feeling okay. I Googled a lot about breast implant illness. I followed many communities, many influencers, and they all told the same thing, that this is really harmful for you, for me. Still, I waited 3 years. 3 years I went still with this, because people said it's harmless, it's not going to harm you. Then I decided I'm just going to get rid of them. And I did last January, so now it's 1.5 years ago, and I took them out. And when I woke up from surgery, the surgeon comes and he's like, here you are, boop, a little bag, a little plastic bag with 2 completely intact implants. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you should be very happy. They are completely intact. There was not a complete mess. It looked really good. And I'm like, wow, this is is this a miracle? She told me it was a rupture and now it's not. Like, and then I was thinking like, okay, what is the truth here and what is not the truth here? And this summer, I began to have like a feeling that something is not right. I told my friends, I have a feeling that something is not right here. And I called like the breast cancer ward again, and I asked, and I said, okay, I don't feel completely 100%. Why am I not called for a mammography? You know, we do that. We have that free in Sweden. It turned out that since I had this thing going for a couple of years, they kind of prolonged the checkup, so I wasn't, but now I'm going to go there next month. Today, when we went to this event, I just feel like, you know, when there are too many signs, when there are too many things going around and too much is pointing to you, and I feel like I went back into my childhood. I went back into being this 11-year-old, 12-year-old, not knowing, is she going to live? What's going to happen now? She doesn't have any hair. Now one boob, second boob. Like, what is this? You know, and back then, no one really knew so much about cancer. And then Dad and everything. So I felt like today I was sitting there like, I want to know things. I want to know, is there something wrong here? Is it okay to walk around with these, you know, residue of silicone? What does that do to my body? How can I have someone take me serious, and so on and so on? And then I met a researcher, cancer researcher, a radiologist. Her name was Matti. And I spoke to her, and she said like, well, this is really, really bad, because women with implants, we are treated less good if we have problems than if you don't have implants and you get problems. I was seen as I was kind of low trash. They did not treat me well in any instance during these years. And I just felt like, what about it nowadays when so many of us have implants? Do you know that you suffer a risk? Do you know that you have an increased risk of breast cancer? I feel that when we're talking about hormonal therapy, estrogen and stuff, they're so clear to say that you have like an increased risk for this type of cancer and so on. But when it comes to implants, do you know? And then Matti told me what's worse, she said, is that women now inject fillers into their boobs. And I get like all... I get anxious about this. All the things we women do without knowing, all the things, the beauty procedures we put ourselves through not knowing it's harmful. And women obviously now inject fillers into their boobs. This in itself can cause cancer. But foremost, it makes it much more difficult to diagnose cancer because it covers up. So cancer isn't visible. And the thing with cancer is you need to spot it early, you need to get it, like nip it at the bud, and then your survival rate is very high. But if you catch it late, and I was thinking like, okay, so first we have implants, and then on top of the implants, we have fillers. And I'm like, where did we and why did we? And obviously not everyone suffered from breast cancer. Not everyone is a parent or a sister or a daughter or a son to someone who suffered from breast cancer. But those of us who are, we know that that is nothing you want. And if there is an increased risk, would you inject fillers in your boobs? I don't think so. I highly doubt it. So to me, it's like in this whole unregulated market of plastic surgery, aesthetic enhancements, cosmetic enhancements, you know, do they inform us about the risks? Have you ever, if you have done this, inject fillers in your boobs, did anyone inform you that it will be more difficult to detect cancer? And you know, with all the other procedures. And I just felt I got so touched today. First, with all the, you know, I also met a woman, Sandra, who had, you know, all these stories. These women, it's not just stories, it's lives. And all the lives of all the people we love, and all the ways we, you know, put ourselves in danger because we want to look good. And I feel, how did we come to that? And who is going to inform us about the risks? Who is going to inform us and stand at the barricades and say, hey, do you know what? The size of your boobs does not define you. You're not more perfect or less perfect. This obsession with how we look cannot be more important than being alive. To die looking good does not seem like a goal. So I think this is what I wanted to raise with this. First, I would post this on YouTube, and now I'm gonna try to post about things that engage me, to inform people, things that I feel like that I have done, and maybe I did it, of course, for the same reason that everyone else did it. I wanted to look good. I wanted to have a better self-confidence. I wanted to feel better, you know. In the end, it made me really, really sick. And it made me really sick 3 times. And I'm still not sure if I'm well. Was it worth it? It cost me more than 100K to just put it in and out. And I'm thinking, like, can we inform each other? Can we have like a women's code that when we find out that something is very risky or that something affects us, can we inform each other so we can make informed decisions? Yes, I want to put my health aside because I want to look good, or no, I don't want to do it. I am okay as I am, with or without boobs, with or without fillers, you know? What is looking good? What is being okay? And can we instead boost each other to be satisfied and accept ourselves as we are? Because for me, I'm 58. It took me a very, very long time to accept myself as I am. And if I can share something and make you, probably you are younger than me, if I can make you inform yourself so you can make informed choices, you know, and find out that maybe there are other ways for you to feel good about yourself, and that there are consequences to all of these procedures. Problem is that the ones who do the procedures, they are the ones who earn the money. So there is no interest for them to inform us about the risks. And that makes complete sense. That if you want someone to invest 100K into fixing her boobs, are you gonna tell about all the risks? This can happen, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. No, you gotta do that job, okay? And then you gotta weigh the risks contra the benefits. Nothing, no procedure is risk-free. No procedure. Doesn't matter how big or small. There are no procedures that are risk-free. And with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for coming back to From Darkness to Light. And you are also very, very welcome to post topics that you want me to share about. This was now because I'm on this backtrack. I don't know if it's called a backtrack, but I'm really into my past these days about what happened and how we took it and how it affected me and what can I do with my learnings, with my teachings. Okay, I'm going to show you a beautiful picture. I just see it right here of my Marianne. Wait, can you see? She looked about like this when I met her when I was a baby. And yeah, she's always been very close to our hearts in my family. Okay, happy Wednesday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And I hope I hear you again soon.